What is one thing from your profession that everyone should know? Pilot engines aren't required for an airplane to fly. They will fly perfectly fine with no engines. Seems like so many people think that when the engines quit, the airplane just falls out of the sky. Not so. All airplanes can glide. Some better than others, but they all can. Engines don't make the airplane fly. They just make it climb and maintain speed and altitude. You can always trade altitude for speed, and vice versa until you run out of one or the other. Look at the space shuttle, for example. It comes from outer space and lands on a specific runway with no engines whatsoever, and it's a terrible glider. Locksmith here. Most locks are not complicated and they will not protect you or your valuables. Lockpicking shimming is so easy you can teach it to an 8-year-old, and I have. I work in its support. Most of the things you ask, I don't know. I use Google. Professor, we inflate grades dramatically because higher education has been turned into a business and we are pressured to keep the customers, students, happy, especially since 70% of us are part-time. Fire at will, employees. Old people nurse here. Go freaking visit your granny in her retirement home, and bring some useful clothes and stuff she likes and nice shampoo and stuff like that. Really, it's not too much to ask. Those people are your family. They need your love and respect now more than ever. I'm a lawyer. If you've got a problem, collect evidence. When you testify during the lawsuit, your word means little. You may lose the case due to lack of evidence supporting your side. Regardless of what actually happened, I've seen good people, including my own clients, lose cases where I had no doubt they were in the right, just because they had nothing to show for themselves except their own say-so. The way you overcome this is by getting evidence while the problem is happening. Get people to put things in writing, including even yourself. Even if you just take down notes, and put the date at the top, and put them in a drawer, that's a lot better than nothing. It makes sense. Memories get foggy as time goes on. Take notes, get things in writing, and hold on to everything. It'll pay off down the line. Preschool teacher, your kids will tell on you. They will slip little things into regular conversation that you would prefer we did not know about you. Things like, my dad is sad. All we do at home is watch TV. And mommy and daddy said I can't play in the chest anymore because that's where they keep their toys. Yep, that's right. They even tell us about your kink. The thing is, unless you consistently show yourself to be a bad parent, we are not going to judge you for those things. The kids usually share these things because they feel safe with us and trust us. B, there is some piece of info in their revelation that is truly important to them. And or C, they are trying to make sense of adult actions with a child's mind. We know this and will take the information, so please give us the same benefit of the doubt that we afford you. Lawyer, I do not consent to a search. Memorize this. Graphic designer, I insert DS into everything I make, though as subtle as humanly possible. I've been doing this for 9 years and not a single person has noticed, as I always slip it into final drafts and print copies. Sometimes it's really small on the design. Sometimes I use multiple design elements to make the shape, but it's always there somewhere. Construction manager, corners were most definitely cut in the house you just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. Also, somewhere behind your drywall is an illustration of a PP. We had a winter hurricane in eastern Canada somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago that completely demolished my house. We were poor, but we had great house insurance and my mother was thrilled we'd get a full home makeover for free, more or less. The contractors were idiots. They didn't know that I was off from school one day while they were working in the house. I opened my door one day while they were working on the second level. I heard them drinking beer, playing cards, feet on the dining room table, smoking cigarettes and talking about how they're making 25 per hour to milk us. They openly bragged about how they could finish everything in a week, but if they dragged it out for 2-3 weeks they'd get a bonus. I just walked up the stairs and looked at them. I've never seen two grown men so scared in my life. They started sputtering out excuses and stuff. I didn't say anything, just went and called my mother. Edit update: we called the insurance company and told them we weren't satisfied with the work that was being done, and they should replace the contractors. They assured us they would, but I remember seeing them there again a couple days later. We decided, whatever, we're not paying for it, until they did some really shoddy work, like when they fixed our fence in the backyard they put all the posts in unevenly so the fence looked like a line graph, and in the kitchen they made an oopsie and put the ceiling in, but forgot to cut holes for the wiring lights. They just shrugged it off and forgot to mention that. After that we called the company back and raged, I think, because the manager knew the insurance company was paying for it all. He didn't care, but once he actually had to pay out of pocket to fix all the mistakes his workers did, that's when he cared and he fired them both on the spot. Embryologist, your chance of achieving pregnancy after the age of 42 without the use of donor eggs is almost non-existent, and the graph starts heading sharply downwards from 35. More women should know this. It's not a happy surprise. Get out of the way, paramedic. As a firefighter I love the "is he blaring the horn at me, do I need to pull over?" Lights and sirens mean move it, people. My dad was a battalion chief on a large urban fire department. One Saturday afternoon, a water heater exploded in a grocery store. This store was at the intersection of two busy streets, so the traffic was a nightmare on a normal day, let alone when the vultures are slowing down to watch people fleeing a burning building. So here is my dad trying to get to a scene where dozens of people could be injured and the idiot drivers won't get out of the way. Lights, siren, air horn, they would not move, so dad decided to handle things in the usual fireman manner. Unfortunately, he forgot to switch from radio to PA, and the entire city got to hear my dad yell, "Get the F out of the way." Computer programmer. We are in the pre-industrial era of software development, and even the best of us aren't very good at it. Think about it. Mechanical engineering is hundreds of years old. Architecture is older. Software starts at roughly 1950. We have a long way to go. When a new bridge, building or airplane is designed, everybody knows it will almost certainly work correctly. Major software projects frequently crash and burn and are abandoned. Those that succeed are filled with bugs. Software is not a rigorous engineering discipline. And yes, I have been programming since 1972 and I know a bit about software. Also a computer programmer, and this is what I'd like people to know. I have a very small knowledge of computer repair. I use this to explain it to friends and family. You'd expect a cab driver to have a good theoretical knowledge of car mechanics, but you wouldn't expect them to know how to fix all problems on all cars. Well, as a programmer I'm more like a driver than a mechanic. I know how to take a computer places, but if it breaks and it's not a simple fix, there isn't much I can do. Mortician. When you get cremated, we don't just open the retort and sweep a pile of ashes into the urn. When we cremate someone, the body is actually reduced to bones. The bones are then put into a grinder. The ashes you get are not really ashes, they're ground up bones. Pharmacist. We don't just count pills and put labels on bottles. I know more about dogs than most other health professionals, so once you have a diagnosis from a doctor, I can make sure your dog therapy is appropriate and will not interfere with any other conditions or medications you might have. I need to know the chemical structure of the dog, how it gets into your body and how your body uses it and disposes of it for the multitude of dogs available. My wealth of knowledge is underutilized by the public, so feel free to ask your pharmacist about your medication and your health. My pharmacist typically spends more time talking to me than my doctor. Soldier here. Those with the most war stories probably didn't do much. Those who don't speak of it probably have seen some I hate being stood up at every family gathering so people can clap and thank me for being in the military. I was in for 15 years and have seen all kinds of badness. When you tell some people what you've done and what you've seen, many treat you differently. A few even get scared. I've had people tell me that they don't want me near their children. I just want people to treat me the same. I don't like the attention. I don't want to hear your war stories, because I have a hard enough time with my own. I have been in Europe for quite a while and have seen how other militaries are treated when everyone has to join. I really like the mandatory military time. It gives everyone an idea of where the taxes go, teaches people about how things really work in life, keeps kids from being obese, and will force most people to grow the hell up and not be about the dumb stuff in life. Military personnel don't complain as much about daily problems, because you can always find a time when it was a lot worse, or stuff didn't go your way. It's really a shame that Germany has a volunteer military now. It'll talk about the good days because I've had so many in the military, and I've met some really interesting people, both good and bad. Ask about crazy stuff we would do or funnest day in the military. Would you want someone to ask you about how your brother or sister died? Wildlife rehabber. It's totally okay to touch a baby bad to put him back in his nest. Birds don't really have a sense of smell, so the parents will absolutely not reject him, even if he has your scent on him. On the other hand, leave baby rabbits alone even if the mama isn't around. Chances are she just didn't do a very good job of hiding them and will be back later. Taking baby rabbits to a vet or rehab is often a death sentence as they don't always thrive even with the best of care. EMT. Don't lie to me. If you're on something, you're pregnant, you had a couple drinks, or whatever it might be, not telling me means you won't be treated correctly, which means you could die. I'm here to help you. And that's it. Oh. And don't be a D to the guy in charge of your medical decisions. That stuff should be a given. In EMT school we were taught to be medical detectives for the ER workers. 2011 I was in the hospital, pericarditis, and the amount of times I was asked if I have or was using dogs was quite amusing. All in one conversation. Do you use dogs? Nope. Are you sure you don't use dogs? I'm sure. No dogs. You don't have to lie to us. It's okay to tell us no dogs. We're not your parents. You won't get in trouble. Have you used any dogs? None at all. So, you haven't used dogs, correct? HMM. If you say so. Scribbles in notepad, probably something like might use dogs. Thrift store employee. We legitimately just make up prices. So if you think the price is too high, ask us to change it. You are 100% more likely to get a deal by asking for one than you are by taking the tag off and asking us how much it costs. When you take the tag off, we're likely to charge you more than you would have paid in the first place, just because you've added extra work for us and we're aggravated and we hate you now. I work as a contractor for the government. There is a lot of classified information on the internet, specifically Wikipedia, that isn't taken down, because then people would know that it's classified. Psychotherapist. You don't need anyone's permission, not even your own mind's, to live a life full of the things that matter to you. Happiness is not the absence of pain, but rather the willingness to ride out the painful bits in order to live the life you want. Teaching. No, I do not just work the 9th of March 1930, and the holidays aren't spent just being off. I put a lot of time, effort and money into making sure my class get the best education I can give them. Chemist. No, I do not cook meth. Yes, I could cook meth. No, I do not cook meth. Episode 2. I do cook meth. Scientist. We don't actually know what we're doing either. The words used most in that profession is wit, from what I've learned. Archaeology. I do not dig up dinosaurs. Graphic designer. Use spell check, and for God's sake also use spell check, and you'll hate the just use the enhance button joke, mostly because there are a large number of people who believe that shit's real. Fire is hot. Source. I fight fires. Ho. Slow down. Frito-Lay machine operator. All that air in your bag of chips is there to ensure you don't end up with a pile of crumbs rather than whole chips. Hopefully I can clear some things up here so I won't have to reply too far down the line. Careful, I'm nowhere close to any decisions over how much air we put in a bag. What I do know is that we package the product, place it in cases, move the resulting pallet to our warehouse, then ship it out to our delivery centers where it goes to the stores. Think of how much movement and how many hands handle the product before it goes on the shelf. Then think about how many customers pick up bags then put them back. There will be breakage, but you can only imagine the damage if there were more chips than air. Less chips than normal. Think of potato chips. We take a potato, slice it up, and fry it. It's a natural product and there is always variation inside the potatoes from day to day, season to season. More water means bigger chips, but less mass. So they fill the bag more but are prone to breakage. Less water means smaller chips, but more mass. So by visual inspection you're getting less but the weight is always the same or greater. We never ship out product that's less than the weight printed on the bag. I've had several holds I was accountable for because I messed up my weights. Not fun. Nitrogen potato chips have nitrogen injected into the bags before they're sealed so they won't go rancid. Corn chips, including Cheetos, and multigrain, Sun chips, don't need the extra nitrogen boost. Fresh chips do chips right out of the fryer taste better? Well, does bread straight out of the oven taste better? The warmth definitely gives it an edge, but I don't think we have any way of supplying warm chips to the consumer. It's a bag of chips, not a cup of soup from a Japanese vending machine. If only it were possible. Something is wrong. I should also mention that if you do find something wrong with your chips, please call the number on the bag. Consumer complaints make it right back to the ones who put the product in a bag, so if there is a mistake we want to know. If a bag makes it back and it has my operator number on it, I definitely want to know. I can't fix it if I don't know it happened. I'm not sure what the compensation is, but I know it's at least what you paid for the product. Free replacement, I believe. Grocery store clerk, please be patient. I see 200 plus people a day. I have to scan over 300 coupons, sometimes up to 1,000. Our store has over 2,000 items, at least 300 in produce alone. I can't remember all the plea codes. I can't know off the top of my head if your coupon is going to work. I am not a magician and I can only do things so fast. I feel like people don't realize just how stressful being a cashier is. I worked at a Sam's Club, and on a bad day I saw about $10k go through my register on a 6-ish hour shift. Minus lunch, it could be over $20k on a busy day with high priced items. Then, after all that, I need to be missing less than $5 over a month. It's stressful. Bank teller. The reason we put the pen on a chain isn't because we're afraid you'll steal it. It's so that we don't have to go searching for a pen every time a customer comes in. Sometimes people absent-mindedly walk out with pens and sometimes we misplace them. However, I work in a small town bank and we don't have computers at every teller window. In walking back and forth between computers and windows, a ridiculous amount of pens can be lost. I'm sure other banks don't have this problem. Retail manager and former waitress. When you are rude to customer service workers, almost every time, any customers who overhear will call you an A as soon as you leave. All you do is humiliate yourself. Bus driver, before you complain because I am a whole 2 minutes late to get your kid, please remember I am driving a 38,000 pound bus with about 50-70 children who think it's playtime in rush hour traffic, as I also listen to 80 plus other drivers try to do the same yet have to deal with people who cut us off and just don't give a sh. You think it sucks when you get stuck in gridlock with your kids or someone gives you road rage for taking a left too slow? Yeah, try it on a school bus. In plain English, I wanna see you do my job and show up at the same house at the same time every day regardless of weather, traffic, safety, etc. Seriously, give your driver a break and for the love of bacon do not pass a stopped school bus. End rant.